Welcome to the final part of this tutorial. If you've missed the first two parts, I'll link to them in the description below. In this part of the tutorial, we'll sew our garnet cubes together. Using the pattern template, I use a rotary cutter and a quilting ruler to cut out the squares. I add an extra half a centimetre or a quarter of an inch around the edge for seam allowance. I cut away the stabilizer backing from the embroidered face. However, I leave the backing on the sewing machine version. This is due to the glue making the fabric surface tacky. It becomes simpler and easier to leave it on there. I then use the face as a template for the other sides of the cube. We'll need 5 plain black squares to complete our cube. If you don't have a rotary cutter and a ruler, marking out the lines and cutting them with scissors will be fine. Next, we're going to sew our cube together. I'll link to a page in the description for which way the minky should be going. We want to sew 4 squares in a line, 2 above the face and 1 below. In the top 2 squares, the minky pile should be going away from the face, so upwards. The minky square under the face should be going in the same direction as the face, downwards. Next we'll sew on the side pieces. This piece of minky should flow in the same direction as the top piece, upwards. To sew on the sides, sew down the first side until 1/2 centimeter or 1/4 inch before the end. This should also be where the seam for the other pieces are. Leave the sewing needle in the down position, lift the foot and rotate the top piece to align with the next bit of fabric. Repeat this step until we've sewn completely around the square. You're welcome to pause after each side and repin. If you've never worked with minky before, I definitely recommend doing this. Repeat this on the other side, although the minky square should flow towards the first piece that we want to sew to. If this is confusing, see the PDF I've linked to in the description for which way the minky should go. After we've sewn around this side, we should be left with one side open. Sew along this side but leave a few centimeters gap, so that we're able to turn the cube inside out and put stuffing inside. There is a bit of a technique to stuffing a cube. You'll have to pay attention to pushing the stuffing into the corners. If you don't, it won't look as much like a cube. If you're having trouble reaching the corners, take something long that you can poke the stuffing around with. I'm using a paintbrush that no longer has the brush part. I knot the thread around the corner part of the plush, and then poke the thread inside. Using the ladder stitch, sew up the gap. A ladder stitch is where you take a small stitch on one side and then a small stitch on the opposite side, and you continue doing that until you get to the end, so that when you pull the thread tight, it all pulls itself together. At the end of the gap, I knot the thread 3 or 4 times, and then push the needle through to a different part of the plush. Then pull taut on the thread, and cut the thread 1/2 centimeter or so away from the plush. At this point, your garnet should be complete. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe for more plush tutorials. Thanks for watching, and happy sewing!